Buffett just invested $4.3 billion in Google. Last week, Wall Street heavyweights released their quarterly 13F filings. These show what stocks they bought and sold over the prior 3 months, and they offer unique insights into where the smart money is placing its bets. The Oracle of Omaha's report, shown here, shows his complete stock portfolio as of September 30th, 2025. Now, Buffett is one of the least active investors on the street. He likes to take large, concentrated positions in companies that he can hold for decades. And other than a few small trades here and there, he only takes 1 or 2 big swings a decade. He started buying American Express, for example, in 1991, taking a $300 million stake. He kept buying until 1995 for a total investment of $1.4 billion. Then he just sat on it and has continued to sit on it for 30 years. It remains his second largest position, now worth over $50 billion. He did the same thing with Coca-Cola. His $1 billion investment in the early 90s is worth $26 billion today, and he collects $800 million a year in dividends. Now, his last big investment was Apple, which he began accumulating in 2016. Between realized and unrealized gains, he has booked a whopping $166 billion profit and climbing. So when Warren bets big, the whole world pays attention. And right now, his sights are set on Alphabet, the parent company of Google. Now, this purchase is especially significant given Buffett's flight to cash over the last few years. The Oracle is a devout value investor. When he believes stock valuations are too high, he simply doesn't buy them. The blue line on this chart shows Berkshire Hathaway's cash position. In just the last 3 years, this cash war chest has surged from $100 billion to nearly $400 billion. Folks, only 20 companies in America are worth more than that, so he could have bought just about anything he wanted in cash, but he hasn't. So the fact he is buying Alphabet here is telling. It says that the only S&P 500 stock that Warren Buffett believes offers a good long-term value is this. So here is his full portfolio, minus a couple of tiny positions at the bottom that got cut off here. But let's look at what he bought and also what he sold. Now, he made a couple of trims. He trimmed 15% off of Apple here, and that's not surprising. He's been reducing his Apple position since early 2024. And again, this is really telling. Remember, Buffett likes to buy stocks and hold them for 10 or 20 or 30 years. He's famously said, quote, "Our favorite holding time is forever." So even a 7 or 8 year hold like here in Apple that he begins reducing is unusual for someone like Buffett. It says that, hey, I thought the stock was a huge value. It obviously was. He made a bundle of money, but now the stock is overvalued. I want to begin getting out of this stock. And so he has done just that over the last 18 months, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues. He also trimmed 6% from another of his long-term holdings, Bank of America. He cut 5% from DaVita, was a little medical nursing company, and reduced his position in Verisign by 32%. Now, Verisign has been a monster as we move to, this is what lets you sign documents electronically without having to sign the stuff, fax it in, or mail it in, and the stock is up over 5-fold over the last decade. So unsurprising, he took a bit of a trim there. He also sold out completely his position in D.R. Horton. I think this is a pretty smart move. A lot of the smart money investors that I track have been building up positions in these home builders over the last couple of years. We thought we were going to have a ton of rate cuts in 24. We thought we were going to have a ton in 2025. Those have just trickled in here at the tail end of this year. So the housing boom they were betting on has not happened. He sold a lot again in the third quarter, which was this kind of June, July, August, July, August, September area right in here. So I think he just tried to get out while the getting's good and is taking off his bet on the home building boom. Now, in terms of addition, as you can see there in green, Alphabet, ticker GOOGL, is his only new addition. Picked up 17,846,000 shares of $4.3 billion. He also added 16% to his position in Chubb Limited, ticker CB. Now, Chubb is an insurance company, and Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway have famously loved this sector. And the reason is they can do what's known as investing the float. He likes these insurance companies because they bring in billions of dollars in insurance premiums. That money then is held by the company until a later time when it must be paid out for a customer claim of like a car wreck or a house fire. And so what he can do is take these billions of dollars, invest it in the stock market, what he believes are undervalued companies, and then make money on that while it's waiting to be paid out. So it's sort of a leverage play. He's been a big buyer of Chubb Limited, continues to buy more here, and I can see why. I mean, this is a weekly chart. Notice the big run up here in 2020 and 2021. The stock then went sideways for about a year and a half as it consolidated, formed another big strong rally into mid-2024, and has done pretty much the same thing here over the last year. So it looks like it wants to break out into new highs and begin surging as well. So another 16% into Chubb Limited. He also made a small 4% addition to SiriusXM, ticker SIRI. And I'll be honest, I don't see this one. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know a single person who has a SiriusXM subscription. And this chart is just about as ugly as it gets. This thing is banging on the $20 mark. Looks like it wants to break lower. So, hey, maybe the Oracle knows something I don't, but this is one I'm not going to follow. And then finally, he increased his position in Domino's Pizza by another 13%, ticker DPZ. And Domino's is like the ultimate sleeper. Nobody's been watching this thing lately, but while no one is paying attention, everybody's been focused on tech over the last 15 years. Domino's Pizza has quietly surged more than 6,000%. So just a quick lesson for you. You don't have to get into tech and AI and the stuff you know nothing about to have success in the stock market. Buffett has killed it with his position in Domino's Pizza. So here's the full summary of Buffett's actions in the second quarter. He took a new $4.3 billion position in Alphabet. He added to his positions in Chubb Limited, SiriusXM, Domino's, and Lamar Advertising, which is that company that has all the billboards on the side of the interstate. He also closed out positions in DR Horton and reduced his stakes in Verisign, Apple, Bank of America, and DaVita. Now, many of you know I've been trying out a new brokerage platform, which is Moomoo, and I'm kind of going through the features of this. And I started digging into the insider activity it shows and found this really interesting. So this is the desktop platform, the chart of Google. And up here at the top, you can click on the shareholders tab and see both insider activity as well as major shareholders. And so here, if we click on shareholder activity, scroll down to September the 30th, we see that big trade from Berkshire Hathaway, the increase of 17.85 million shares. You also see a $4.8 billion buy from FMR, another big one from Capital Research, CIBC, JP Morgan, etc. But what I find to be the most interesting is the insider activity. And that means, what are the people inside the company, the top executives, doing with that stock? Now, in terms of Google, you don't see really any additions here. One 955 share increase, but as we can see, that's from a derivative exercise, which means he's just cashing out stock options. But with these little companies, we can get some really great insight. Now, this is a stock we recommended in our Insider Effects service a few weeks ago, ticker MBX. We bought it right here on October the 29th, and it is currently up from that point around 46%. But let me show you why we bought it. Again, we're going to go over here to shareholders, and down here, we're going to select the insider button and look down here at this lower table. You can see whether insiders at this company are buying or selling. If the shares traded as green, that's a buy. If it's a red, it's a sell, and they are without question actively buying this stock. Now, the ones I like to look for, if you look over here at the transaction heading, are the ones that say open market acquisition. What that means is that insider went with his own money in his own investment account, bought up shares on the open market at market prices. That is an extremely bullish action. The others, like derivative exercise, things like that, these guys get stock options as part of their compensation package. Once they vest, they'll often convert them to stock and cash out. So it's less telling that they're betting on a stock to go higher, but these open market acquisitions are very, very telling. And you got here, Fraser Life Sciences went in for a devilish 666,666 shares of stock. But these two directors, Stephen Hortner and Peter Holrick, also bought 20,000 shares each. And what we can do is see all their past insider activity. So this is Stephen Horter, for example. So you see, these were, again, stock option exercises. But here on the 16th, he made a big open market acquisition, picked up 20,000 shares of this stock. The CEO took similar action. We do have some option exercises, but look at these open market acquisitions. 50,000 shares on February the 3rd, comes back for another 20,000 October the 19th. So we saw this pattern of heavy buying by the insiders at this company. Looking at the chart, you see this big gap up on September the 22nd. Stock triples in a single day, then gives back 50% of that gain, which is not uncommon for these kind of big moves, and then quickly begins rising higher. And as it's rising higher, we have insider buying, insider buying, insider buying. So we followed along, got in here at around $18 or so a share, and it is at $26 and climbing. So nice little tool for Moomoo there to see both insider activity, as well as what institutions are buying or selling that stock. Now, haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button down there in the corner. There's also a link below this video. We have a special YouTube offer. You can join our Black Ops service for just $5 for the entire year. That includes live sessions with me every Monday, live sessions over Zoom with our other analyst every Thursday, along with a plethora of other benefits, including training videos, indicators, access to our support team, and more. So if you're interested, click that link below. And finally, I know I'm going to get in the comments. Yes, I am wearing glasses. I have gone 42 years without ever owning a pair. 2 weeks ago, I got my first eye exam of my life. Turns out I'm around 20/50 vision, got a couple of astigmatisms, and $1,000 later, here I am with these specs. So get used to the new look. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next update.